A dad cursed the daughter he never knew existed after she unexpectedly met with him, begging for a favor. He pushed her away, thinking she was a gold digger, but burst into tears after reading her will and a final letter she left him. Before we continue, please take some time to subscribe to Dailydose, like and share this video with your friends. It might brighten their day and inspire them to do good. Also keep watching because an important lesson awaits at the end of the video. 55-year-old Richard Fletcher lived alone in his mansion in the heart of downtown Pittsburgh. He loved many women over the years, and after a string of breakups, he gave up on finding love again. During his youth, Richard was known as the spoiled son of a business tycoon. His mother had died when he was just 1, so he was overly pampered by his dad. Right from high school to college and later, Richard dated many women, but never settled down with anyone because he thought he still had a lot of time for that. He took his youth for granted, and it was too late when he finally realized he needed a family. Richard often fantasized about having secret children with his exes, but mostly brushed it off as a dead joke until one day when he got a shocking letter from a 24-year-old woman claiming to be his love child. Richard had been flipping through his old albums, recalling the names of the women he was pictured with when the doorbell rang. "This was Emma in Paris," Richard had been saying, oblivious to the doorbell. "And oh, how did I miss this one? Wait, what was her name? Emily? Rebecca?" He was trying to remember which ex-girlfriend it was when he heard loud bangs on the door, which jolted him back to the present. "Who is it? Wait, I'm coming." A mailman was at the door. He greeted Richard and gave him a letter. "Have a good day, Mr. Fletcher." A letter from California, Richard thought. Curious, he tore the envelope and read the most shocking letter of his life. "Dear Dad, I know this must sound weird, but I'm your daughter, and I would like to meet you soon. My phone number is down here, and please call ASAP so we can talk further. Love, Jenny." Richard froze for a few seconds, then took his phone. He trembled as he dialed the number and waited for the person to answer. "It can't be. A daughter? My daughter?" He gasped. "Hello." He heard a young woman say. "Hello, who is this?" Richard couldn't believe his ears. The voice reminded him of someone. Clearing his throat, he responded in a faint and desperate voice. Hello. Hi, this is Richard Fletcher, and I just got a letter from someone named Jenny saying she is my daughter. Is this Jenny? Daddy?" Richard was stunned to hear someone call him Daddy for the first time in his life. He had always wanted children and often regretted not having any. It took him by surprise, but at the same time, he had to verify the woman's claims. "Who is this? And how do you know my address?" he asked. "I'm your daughter, Jenny." Do wait a minute. I don't have a daughter. I'm not yet married." I know that, Daddy, but you'll know everything when we meet. So when shall we meet?" Intrigued by the woman's assurance, Richard agreed to meet her, but on one condition. "I need proof that you really are my daughter. Are you ready to take a DNA test with me?" Jenny agreed, so they both bought at-home DNA test kits from the same company and sent their samples to the laboratory to be tested. "No, it can't be." A shocked Richard exclaimed as he read the results a week later, confirming he was Jenny's father. 2 days after, Jenny flew to Pittsburgh to meet her dad. She arrived early at the cafe where Richard told her to wait, looking around for any sign of the man. She sat in a corner, curious and nervous. A few moments later, Richard entered and scanned the area. He didn't know how his daughter looked, and then he felt a hand grab his shoulder. "Daddy? Hi, I'm Jenny." Richard was surprised and quite embarrassed. He looked around to see that nobody noticed him with a girl who introduced herself as his daughter. The two sat and stared at each other for a while. Richard looked into Jenny's eyes and recalled an ex. Those eyes looked familiar. "What is your mother's name?" "Sandra." "Sandra? So you're Sandra's daughter." "I remember her. What happened to her? Why isn't she with you?" "I'm not just Sandra's daughter. I am your daughter too, Daddy," Jenny said, unable to hold back her tears. "Mom died last year, but before she died, she gave me her diary. That's how I found out about you." In her diary, Sandra detailed her relationship with Richard, from their first kiss to their wonderful trip to Paris, including his address and a few of their photos. She wanted me to find you. I reached out to the address in her diary, but they said you had sold that house and moved elsewhere in Pittsburgh. I got your address from them 6 months ago, and I was hesitant to contact you. But finally, I did it. Although Richard was moved by his daughter's efforts to find him, he questioned her sudden interest in meeting him. I am genuinely happy to see you, Jenny. But what made you want to find me? Don't you think I'm a bad man for dumping your mother? I swear I had no idea she was pregnant. It makes no difference now. Mom had written in her diary about your multiple affairs. She loved you truly, but you failed her in many ways. She raised me alone because she feared you would question her loyalty. But now, all that doesn't make any sense to you, or does it? Jenny's words hurt Richard. He had no idea that Sandra was pregnant with his child. He was filled with regret and looked forward to a lovely reunion with his daughter. And then Jenny revealed her sickness, prompting Richard to back down. I'm not well and need a small favor from you. A favor? So is this why you're here? For money? Richard fumed. No, Daddy. Please listen to me. No, don't go. Richard was too annoyed by Jenny's request for help. He surmised that she had come for his money and stormed away without listening to her fully. Don't call me again. Is that clear? I won't allow gold diggers in my life again. His hurtful words tormented Jenny. She sat there crying as Richard stormed past her. Richard was determined not to hear from Jenny or see her again, though he often checked his phone to see if he got any calls or messages from her. He got none. But fate had other plans 6 months later when a lawyer reached out to him with some sad news about Jenny. Yes, that's right. I'm Brooke, Jenny's attorney. I'm calling from California, Mr. Fletcher. Would you mind coming here for a day or two? I have something to discuss with you about your daughter. My daughter? What does she want now? I am not going anywhere, and please stop calling me, all right? Richard warned. He assumed Jenny had filed a lawsuit to claim money from him. Mr. Fletcher, wait. 1 sec. You need to calm down. Please listen to me. You need to come here to witness the will reading. Your daughter's will. Richard flinched. Did you say my daughter's will? Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Mr. Fletcher. Your daughter passed away last week, and she left you a will. What do you mean she left me a will? Just please be here next week for the hearing of the will. Richard's heart sank and shattered into bits and pieces. He wanted to believe nothing he just heard was real, but it was. Jenny was dead, and she had left something for him to collect. With a heavy heart and broken hopes, Richard flew to California for the will hearing and was stunned when the truth came to light. It turned out that Jenny had been counting her days due to a terminal illness, and she left the house and money she had inherited from her mother to Richard. She had met him in Pittsburgh to discuss the details, but Richard misunderstood her. She also left him a letter where she spilled her emotions. Dear Daddy, I love you and always will, no matter how much you hate me. I was hoping to live the very few days I had left with you. I did not want a penny from you, but I just wanted your love. I don't know if I will wake up tomorrow. Death is waiting at my doorstep to unite me with Mom. I only wish to feel your love one last time before I close my eyes. I know it will be too late when this letter reaches you, but I want you to know I always loved you, not your money. Love, Jenny. Richard was crushed. He was so wrong about everything. He wished he could turn back time and do things right. All he could do now was visit Jenny's grave and cry. I'm sorry, darling. Please forgive me. Please call me Daddy just once. Please. He spent several hours beside Jenny's grave, thinking about how things could have been better if he had listened to her at the cafe. Several days passed, but Richard never healed. He permanently moved into his daughter's house to live with her memories. With the money he inherited from her, he set up a charity foundation for sick children to honor his late daughter. He also built an orphanage and often spent time with children there. He regretted his past mistakes and decided to do good for others for the rest of his life.